Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Data Standard Audio Experience. I'm here today with Benjamin Kepner, the CEO of Global Social Media Marketing. And today we're going to be speaking about how to apply data science to your social media. So, welcome to the show, Benjamin. I'm very excited to have you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and let's just get started. Could you tell us more about your background and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Benjamin Kepner. I'm the CEO and founder of Global Social Media Marketing. We're a marketing and education technology training company that is headquartered in Denver, Colorado.
Awesome. And how did you kind of come up with the idea of your company? And how did you know that there was kind of a need for this in the tech space?
Yeah, so I mean, really, I think there's been, marketing and advertising agencies for a long time now. So it wasn't like a new company idea. It was like an already established industry. But I think what happened between the time I graduated in 2011, if you see my University of Georgia degree there in the background, if you're watching the video version of this, really that's kind of when social media became a job. So I graduated with a marketing and international business degree from UGA, and then immediately head of marketing departments, CEOs, founders, they're like, oh, Benjamin grew up with social media. He knows how to do this. A lot of the older people at that stage of their marketing career, social media was a brand new thing. So they had no experience. And so that's kind of how I started my career. I kind of went from freelance gig to one other contractor job to working in different industries. And then eventually I had so much social media experience that I started developing case studies, and it got to the point where my accountant was filing my taxes one year and he said, Benjamin, you've got like 4 or 5 freelance clients at this stage. Essentially, you could create a company from this. And I said, oh, okay, well, maybe we should do that then. So that's kind of how the idea came to be. And the rest is history. We've been doing this for 3 years. I think the second portion of answer to your question is just the need, I think, in the tech space is because there is so much data now that comes from social media specifically. It's arguably one of the most data rich places you can go if you're a data scientist or a tech person. And so you need somebody, I think, that understands social media, not just from a psychological, but also from a data perspective. And you also need people that know how to run paid advertising campaigns, which is again and again something that I see that a lot of people don't know how to use the advertising platforms, or they focus so much on the organic side of their social media strategy and forget that advertising is really how you're going to get your content or your promos or whatever you're promoting from a marketing perspective in front of the right audience to buy your product or service, to obviously hopefully correlate ROI to your social media efforts.
Yeah, and I'm also glad that you brought up the data side of the social media marketing. How is your organization being more data driven since, data science in general is kind of a newer field? Are you doing anything with data that's innovating the tech field right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're always trying to innovate as best as we can. And it is a dream for my company to have a data scientist. So if anyone's listening out there and you are looking to work as a data scientist in the social media industry, you should definitely reach out to me. But on that note, what I would say is the unique thing for us as a social media company is we're constantly running paid ads. So roughly this year, we may spend anywhere from about $5 million to $10 million in just paid advertising on social media. And so from that data, every day we are collecting data on engagements, clicks, leads, website traffic, user behavior, testing different ads for different audiences. So what we're really doing is we are collecting really rich data on not only what can ultimately drive sales or leads for a business, but also collecting market research, right? And then that is now giving the business another data point from that perspective as a data scientist to make informed business decisions on how to improve the company from the social media efforts.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And let's say you were to have a new data scientist to your team, what would be a good example of how this data scientist could be used for to help social media?
So pretty much the question was, how can a data scientist use the data? So I think the answer to that is using predictive analytics, right? So if we can create smart algorithms in time from machine learning or from collecting large sample data points, essentially what we can do then is we can create cluster samples of very specific audiences that we know convert better because of a certain criteria of data, right? And so I think where we would like to get as a company, as a social media company, or what I'm seeing companies that are ahead of us doing, is they are essentially creating their own data warehouses that then run predictive analytics algorithm around their social media campaigns so that they can leverage that data for any of their clients or for any other industry. And they can kind of create their own predictive analytics in that industry.
Yeah, no, that's definitely great to hear. Well, social media is a very large field, and a lot of it is changing as the years are going by, especially with, there's like paid marketing type of campaigns. There's now milestones on Instagram for content creators to just be able to gain more money. And how do you think social media in general is going to change in the coming years?
Yeah, I think there will be more data points. I think more people as time goes on are going to get comfortable with social e-commerce or social commerce, right? Like a lot of people have still not made that mental psychological shift yet, I would say, of feeling comfortable buying things on social media, but pretty much all of the platforms at this stage, you don't even need a website at this stage in 2021 if you don't want to. You could literally just sell your product or service on social media. And so I think with that, you're getting, credit cards, debit cards, zip codes, addresses, like more rich, let's say, financial information via social media. And I think the other thing is just like because of the more data that's being collected, now we're building more robust customer profiles, right? So it's almost like social media is becoming like a bank in some ways, right? Like they are literally collecting all the information that they would need. And so then that's just going to improve, I would say, the advertising. It's going to improve the algorithm learning of showing the right content to those people based on that data. And then I would say the final thing is just advertising in general will get more advanced. Like from a tech perspective, like, I think the simplistic ads used to just be like text ads, and that's really expanded. So now you've got audio, you've got video, you're going to have chat. I know Google is releasing their, like, when you search now, there'll be a chat feature instead of calling somebody. So I think that's the other dynamic, is not just thinking that social media is a post thing anymore. Text, it's really evolved into like multimedia.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And in the future, with all of these changes that you're predicted that you think will happen, what kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to go into a social media field but still really play around with the data similarly to what you do?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're not in the social media industry, like I think you can still be a data scientist and do a project for another company, and show how that you do some of the things that I talked about, like what our company would benefit from, like being able to almost kind of deconstruct data sample size into smaller like clusters or segments that deliver insights on why this is working better in the business or the advertising campaign, or whatever the project is that the data scientist is working on. I think the other thing is are there things that a data scientist can build from a Python custom type of solution for us to offer to our clients? Like, is there a specific coding language that they can use to run automated things? And a good example of that in social media industry is just straight data reporting, analytics, right? Like we spend so much manual time trying to figure out the different data points from different systems. If we can just automate all of that into a solution that can, run code and pull that information for us, that could also be very advantageous for us. And some of our clients, right? I mean, I think that's the hard thing with data now, is there's so many systems, everyone's using different platforms. So like we don't have the bandwidth as a company to be an expert at every platform. So having a data scientist come in and be able to automate maybe some of the analytics or the reporting would be very helpful for us.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of great things that you can do in the social media field right now. And I wanted to say thank you so much, Benjamin, for joining me today on the Data Standard. It was so great to have you. And what we're trying to do is we're building a community of data experts, data enthusiasts, and anyone interested in this field. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I think, for me it would be number one, if there's a good data scientist out there, definitely get in contact with me. You can find our website at globalsocialmediamarketing.com. Second thing I would say is if you have any questions about social media or data, like I do enjoy when people hear podcast episodes of me or speaking, feel free to reach out. And the final thing is I'd love to hear from people in data scientists, like what they're seeing in social media, right? Like I'm not originally a data scientist. I'm not even, I would never even call myself that, but I play with a lot of data and I like talking to data scientists because I just feel like they're very intelligent people and they could hugely impact us from my company and my personal growth. So those would be kind of the things I think that the community could help me with.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can everyone find you online to connect with you?
Yeah, so the website, as I mentioned, is globalsocialmediamarketing.com. And then also, you can pretty much find me anywhere on social media as a social media CEO. It's Benjamin Kepner is my name. So I'm sure that'll be spelt out in the podcast episode, but those are probably the best places to find me.
Yeah, awesome. And I wanted to say thank you so much, Benjamin, for joining me today on the show. It was so great to hear more about your line of work and just everything that you're just working on right now and how the future of social media is innovating. So thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.